What's up, Lions Nation? Welcome back to Detroit Scope. Before we dive into today's madness, we have to say something. Thank you for helping us hit 100 subscribers. That milestone means the world to us, and honestly, it's just the beginning. Our goal right now is 1,000 subscribers, and we cannot get there without you. So if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button, because every single one of you brings us closer to that number. Now, let's get into it, because training camp in Detroit is absolutely buzzing right now, and there's a lot to unpack. Let's start with the story that's got everybody talking, Jack Campbell. If you remember last year at this exact point in camp, Campbell was fielding question after question about his health, about whether his body could hold up, about whether the injury concerns from the past would follow him into the season. And to his credit, he answered every single doubt the only way you really can, by suiting up and playing all 17 games. But this year, none of those questions are even being asked anymore. And when reporters brought that up to him directly, his response said everything you need to know about where his head is at right now. He called it extremely liberating. Said he feels like a completely new person, both physically and mentally. Last year, there was so much looming over him heading into the season, and now, in his own words, everything feels settled. He can just focus on football, keep what's important in front of him, and let the rest take care of itself. That is the kind of quiet confidence that can carry a defense. And for a guy entering year 5, it's exactly the mindset the Lions need out of one of their most important defensive pieces. And when you ask Campbell how high he's setting the bar for himself this season, the answer is almost predictably Campbell. Every single year, he says they're shooting for the stars. No excuses, no hedging, just full belief in what this team and this defense can become. Part of that comfort, he explained, comes from his relationship with position coach Casey Rogers. Campbell described it as a full green light situation, total trust flowing both directions. When a player feels like his coach genuinely believes in him and gives him room to just play without overthinking every step, that's when you start seeing a guy hit his absolute ceiling. And Campbell sounds like a man who is done overthinking and ready to just go. Now here's where the story gets even juicier, because Campbell isn't just settling into comfort. He is stepping directly into a massive new responsibility. With one of the best coverage linebackers this defense has ever had now gone from the roster, Campbell made it clear he knows the challenge sitting in front of him. He straight up said it was put in his ear that now that this elite cover linebacker presence is gone, somebody has to pick up that slack, and Campbell is more than ready for it. He's not doing it alone either. He name-checked a running mate in that linebacker room who has also elevated his game tremendously in coverage. Someone who's become a true all-around weapon. Stopping the run, playing man coverage, blitzing, doing it all. Between the two of them, plus a room full of athletic, savvy veterans, Campbell sounds convinced this linebacker core is fully capable of filling that void. And on top of that, he's genuinely excited about another name stepping into a bigger role this season, Malcolm Rodriguez. Campbell couldn't stop praising him, calling him a guy whose football IQ and instincts jump off the tape the moment the pads come on. He said Rodriguez is the kind of player who inspires him personally, someone who never lets anything get in the way of what he wants to accomplish. High praise from a guy who doesn't hand out compliments lightly. Campbell also touched on the new faces populating the defensive line room, guys who trained alongside him this offseason. Without getting too deep into full names, he made it clear that several new additions along the defensive front are exactly his type of player. Quiet dudes who let their play speak for them on the field, and he's genuinely excited to work alongside them heading into the season. He also singled out one particular young player entering what's essentially his true rookie year, despite having a small taste of pro life already under his belt. Campbell said this player trained extremely hard this offseason and physically has everything he needs, and now it's just about accelerating the mental side, learning the speed of the game, and stacking as many quality reps as possible. According to Campbell, that process is already going beautifully. All right, before we go any further, quick reminder, because it genuinely helps us more than you know, if you're enjoying this breakdown, drop a like and hit subscribe. It costs nothing, takes 2 seconds, and it's the single biggest thing you can do to support this channel as we push toward 1,000 subscribers. Okay, back to the news. Let's shift over to the coaching side, because Campbell also opened up about the growth he's seen in defensive coordinator Kelvin Shepard heading into year 2 calling this defense. Campbell explained that Shepard evolved massively over the course of last season. And by the time it wrapped up, Campbell genuinely felt like this defense was playing really good football. But what stood out most to Campbell wasn't scheme. It was Shepard's willingness to actually listen. Campbell made a point of saying Shepard doesn't carry his ego into these conversations. If a player approaches him questioning something, Shepard isn't offended, isn't defensive, he just listens. Campbell said flatly that Shepard is incredibly smart, and the entire locker room has full faith in him heading into this new season. That kind of open, collaborative coaching relationship is exactly the sort of chemistry that turns a good defense into a great one, and it sounds like Detroit's linebackers are buying all the way in. Now, let's pivot to arguably the most emotional storyline coming out of Allen Park right now. Kerby Joseph. If you've been tracking the Lions' defense closely, you know Joseph has been dealing with a serious knee issue, and hearing him describe how it all started is honestly jarring. He explained that he woke up one morning last season, and his knee was simply swollen. No major trauma moment, no obvious explanation, just swollen. Out of nowhere, on the exact same day, certain reports about his situation broke publicly. He said everybody found out at basically the same moment he did. At first, he brushed it off, figured maybe he wasn't feeling as fast that day. Maybe it was something he ate at breakfast. But the swelling didn't go away. He went in for imaging, and the news that came back changed everything. He kept pushing, kept trying to play through it, right up until the moment his body and his medical team made the call for him, sidelining him during a game against Kansas. What makes Joseph's story so compelling isn't just the injury itself. It's how he talks about getting through it. He credits his faith as the anchor that carried him through the entire process, describing his baptism as something that opened his eyes to things he says he simply couldn't have seen otherwise.
Cautious? You trying to call me scary?
No, I'm not.
You trying to call me scary? I go hard. Every time you see me, I go hard. That's it.
Yeah! God got the timeline. Whenever God want me out there, I'm going to be out there. You know, God don't want me out there, I ain't going to be out there. But God want me out there, I'm going to be out there.
Talk to you briefly.
He was noticeably guarded about the specifics of his treatment and rehab process, saying some things he simply can't disclose. But he was emphatic that the people who came into his life during that stretch were a blessing, and he's endlessly thankful for the support system that helped carry him through arguably the hardest year of his career. And then, because this is the NFL and nothing is ever simple, Joseph pivoted into a completely different gear when asked whether he needs to be cautious moving forward. He practically pushed back on the question itself, firing back with real intensity that nobody should mistake caution for fear. He goes hard every single time, no exceptions. It was a genuinely electric moment, the kind of raw competitive fire that fans want to see from a player who has clearly been through it and come out the other side determined rather than timid. When it comes to setting a firm return timeline, Joseph kept things characteristically faith-driven, saying essentially that the timeline belongs to God, and whenever he's meant to be back on the field, he'll be there. And in one of the more unexpected twists of the entire session, Joseph used his media availability to plug something completely outside of football, a YouTube channel he's launched called Zap Network, along with a new song titled Fly Today, that he says is getting real traction. He was playful and confident about it too, joking that he's a part-time rapper, but football always comes first. It's a fun reminder that these guys are full people outside the white lines, and Joseph clearly wants his story told on his own terms. Injury, faith, music, and all. Circling back to the defense as a whole, there's real concern simmering under the surface with both Joseph and fellow defensive back Brian Branch currently sidelined. Campbell didn't shy away from how much that stings, calling the two of them thunder and lightning together, praising Joseph's ball-hawk instincts dating back to his college days in the Big Ten, and describing Branch as maybe the most explosive playmaker he's ever been around. Losing both at once is obviously a gut punch, but Campbell was quick to point out the silver lining that seems to follow this Lions program everywhere it goes. Next man up, other defensive backs are stepping into that competition right now, fighting for real opportunities, and Campbell says the competitiveness on display in that secondary room has genuinely been fun to watch, even the sweatpants and shell stage of camp before pads officially come on. There's also a significant subplot brewing on the offensive side involving a key contracted piece Campbell referred to affectionately as one of his closest guys on the team, who's currently away from the field amid contract negotiations. Campbell was careful about how much detail he was willing to share, understandably, but he made it clear this teammate is still very much present in the building, attending meetings, staying plugged in, just not practicing yet. Campbell expressed hope that his guy will be back out on the field sooner rather than later, and noted the rest of the locker room seems to fully understand the business side of the situation, even as it's clearly a tough pill to swallow losing one of the offense's best players from live reps, even temporarily. In the meantime, Other skill players are getting real opportunity to show what they can do. And if there's one lesson this Lions roster has hammered home over and over, it's that every single opportunity in this league matters. And the players who seize it are the ones who stick. So here's where things stand right now in Allen Park. A veteran linebacker entering his prime, feeling more liberated and locked in than ever before. A coordinator earning genuine trust and buy-in from his locker room heading into year 2. A breakout candidate at linebacker ready to fill massive shoes. A safety fighting back from injury with faith, fire, and a surprising side hustle in music. And a secondary desperately trying to hold the fort while 2 of its most explosive pieces work their way back to health. Training camp in Detroit is only just getting started. And if day 2 felt this dramatic, just imagine what's coming once the pads go on for real. That's going to do it for this breakdown here on Detroit Scope. If you enjoyed this one, do us a massive favor and hit that like button. Drop a comment telling us who you're most excited to watch bounce back this camp. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. We are so close to hitting 1,000 subscribers, and every single subscriber genuinely helps this channel grow. Thank you again for helping us reach 100. We see you, we appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one. Go Lions!